Welcome to The Startup. I'm Rebecca Jarvis. TripAdvisor is the world's largest travel site, and as we head into one of the biggest travel times of the year, millions of people will be using it. Steve Kaufer is the president and CEO of TripAdvisor, and he's here to tell us more about how he got started. So, Steve, you studied computer science at Harvard. How did you come up with the idea for TripAdvisor?
Well, I actually was very involved in computers and software programming for a solid decade after I graduated. But then I thought, how could I use some of my skill set in a completely different industry? And I had no background in travel other than as a traveler. And so I wanted to go take a vacation with my wife. And it was really hard to find kind of the honest answers, the honest opinions about where to go, where to stay. And after my wife actually watched me suffer through the brochures from the agencies and the internet searches, not really yielding anything interesting, anything reliable, we decided to go off and start a company that would help categorize and catalog all of the opinions from everyone, our friends, and what's now the millions and millions of travelers out there that have contributed to the site.
You did this 12 years ago when this wasn't really heard of. Social media, giving advice, talking about bad or good experiences at different restaurants, hotels, things like that. That wasn't happening online nearly to the degree that it is now. Now that it is so prevalent online, how do you stand out and how do you say TripAdvisor is the place where people should go rather than something else?
The answer to that is relatively simple. It's the scale. It is so hard to find anywhere you might want to stay or a place you go or a place you want to eat where we don't have hundreds, if not thousands of reviews. So when you go to another site perhaps and see one person's opinion, or you pick up an old-fashioned guidebook that has one paragraph about a hotel, that information is so limited and potentially so dated that it's just not as accurate compared to what you're actually going to experience at wherever you're staying.
Do you think there's a bubble in social media and in advice-giving websites?
I don't think so at all.
You don't?
I really believe that it is. I mean, I look at TripAdvisor and say, we've proven it's not a bubble now. We've been around for over a dozen years. We've been growing steadily, quarter on quarter on quarter. And we're now the largest travel site, larger than Expedia, larger than Orbitz, Travelocity, larger than most of the U.S. airlines combined. That's how many people are visiting TripAdvisor each and every month. Why? Because they're getting free advice from their friends, from others out there that have shared their opinion online.
How important is it then, as far as this industry goes, to be the biggest and be number one as opposed to being one of many?
Oh, I think it's pretty important. Just from a consumer angle, if I'm going to research something, I want the broadest set of opinions. TripAdvisor will give you 2,000 opinions. It'll give you information on all of the hotels in New York or wherever you're traveling to, versus another site that may have a couple of opinions of a couple of properties. So,
what's the smartest thing you did to create TripAdvisor?
I truly opened it up to let our users be able to contribute in almost any way they wanted, whether it be a review or a candid photo that they took. Hey, this is what the inside of the hotel room really looks like, not that extra glossy picture that you'll see in a hotel brochure. In the forums, letting people contribute their tips and advice for anything that anyone asks about. It's the power of the millions of travelers that make the site so nice.
And if you could do anything differently?
Oh, I'd probably have reached out globally a little earlier, because travel is a global phenomenon, and we're already out in sort of 20 plus different languages, but there's a lot more out there, and probably would have started that earlier.
Steve Kaufer, founder and CEO of TripAdvisor, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for watching The Startup. Remember, if you'd like to see someone here, tweet us at Rebecca Jarvis, #TheStartup.